Friends, we are approaching the end of our normal year, and we have several graduating seniors, and then two of them have been brave enough to agree to come up and say something about their time with us and where they are going, and maybe something about God and stuff too. So with that being said, Molly Joachim, I invite you to come up.
Hello, everyone. I'm a very fast talker, but Father Nick today told me to take it very slow, so I'm going to try my best. But it is surreal to me that I am standing up here today. Every year, I've loved to watch the seniors make their speeches as they head off into the world, and I just still can't quite process that it is finally my turn. My name is Molly Joachim, and I've been attending this church for the last 15 years of my life, and next year I will be attending the University of St. Andrews, all the way in Scotland. These past weeks, I feel like I've been doing so much reminiscing on my past, and I've realized that this church has been such a staple in shaping who I am today, and I am forever grateful for that. There have been so many memories here through the years, which make St. Luke's feel so comfortable and welcoming every time I step foot through these doors. I remember the older kids telling me there were ghosts at the top floor, and I was always terrified to go up there. We would run through the halls and stay late after Sunday school, sneak donuts into a room during the pumpkin patch unloading, and play on the jungle gym after communion. Kira and I, the Wallingfords, Owen, we were all complete menaces. We were all over the place all the time. But St. Luke's let us be kids. They embraced our craziness, which allowed me to never feel like I was dreading coming to church, but rather I was excited to go to a place where I felt safe and accepted, and they opened their arms at each stage of our life. As I've gotten older, my relationship with St. Luke's has continued to change. Throughout COVID, our routine shifted, with Sunday mornings in pajamas on the couch. This is when I remember listening to the sermons more intently and figuring out how to put the lessons to work in my life. Throughout high school, I was faced with a much busier schedule. I had a gazillion extracurriculars, responsibilities, sports like every other teenager. But if anything, the Sundays where I was able to come to church were a break where I could detach myself from all that was going on and focus on the important things, God. In a world that kept changing, this has been my place of peace, where I can learn about faith every Sunday. So much is evolving in these upcoming months. I'm moving across the Atlantic Ocean, which is definitely a big leap. But I have no fear or doubt in my body, because I know that I will always come back to this neighborhood, this community, this church, and feel the stability I've had all these years. This is a place filled with so much love for everyone, and the simple act of driving over with my family, sitting in the same seats, and talking to familiar faces is something I will always cherish. So thank you, St. Luke's, for shaping the person I am today and building such a strong love of learning when it comes to faith and Christianity. I will carry these lessons I have learned over the years wherever I go. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sam Glassman. You probably recognize me from serving as acolyte or verger. I've been coming here a few years and mostly doing that. Father Nick also told me to try to speak slowly so that the sound wouldn't bounce into itself or something. So I'll do my best. As I was preparing what I wanted to speak about today, I looked over today's scripture, and one part of the reading from Paul's letter to the Ephesians caught my eye. It's when he says, "I pray that God may give you a spirit of wisdom and revelation as you come to know him, so that with the eyes of your heart enlightened, you may know what is the hope to which he has called you." As I reflect on my time with the church, I begin to recognize that hope has been an ever-present feeling in my experiences here. Visiting Alaska with the J2A program, especially the Shrine of St. Therese, gave me the hope that there are still and will always be peaceful and green places in this world. When my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, the church sprang into action, organizing a prayer group and sending people with homemade meals to our house and giving me the hope that we were cared for and protected and that things would be all right. And on the many Sundays that I've walked through those doors feeling down, feeling bad about myself, or simply feeling small in the face of a world capable of shocking cruelty, I have always walked back out those doors after the service feeling so much better. Between the incredible music, the people greeting me with unconditional kindness that comes as naturally to them as breathing, and the memories of baptisms, confirmations, performances, barbecues, and sweltering pumpkin trucks, this community gives me hope. It enlightens, at least for a moment, the eyes of my heart, reminding me that there will always be beautiful places in this world. There will always be people with beautiful souls. There will always be love. I am so grateful to this community and its leaders, especially Father Nick, for welcoming me and my family into this larger family. I believe that that is what God means to me, what God is to me, is hope in the face of fear, love in the face of pain, security in the face of uncertainty. All of these things are exemplified here more than in any other place that I've witnessed, and I'm proud to call St. Luke's my home.
So we have several graduating seniors. Elizabeth Witzman has been a huge part of our community here. There's been several, and then I would be remiss if I did not try to embarrass Kira Hope. So Kira made it, and then by the way, this is optional. We did not compel anyone to come up here and give these talks. As with anything in church, it's an option, but you're not required to do so. And then Kira very candidly said, "You're not going to get me to do this." And then so Kira has called this place home essentially her whole life. She was baptized here. She went through the day school. She did our J2A program. She went on the pilgrimage to Alaska along with Sam, and went to the same shrine. She's unloaded pumpkin trucks. We have some visitors here. This is their first time here. I'm not going to explain why we have a pumpkin truck and why it's such a big deal. You have to hang out and find out. We'll keep that mysterious. But trust me, it's a really big deal. And then, so here's the thing, Kara. I was scared of you. So I've been here for like 3 years, and then the most, so like she just smiled. I didn't see that for the first 3 years I was here. She made it abundantly clear she did not want to talk to me every time I saw her in church. You didn't say anything, you just got those vibes. They're like, all right, you do you, and I'm going to do me. And then she's always been a great acolyte, very attentive to detail and all of that. Never smiling, but always, you can tell she was engaged. And then I asked her last year if she wanted to apply for this verger position. So this is a paid position. The verger position's open to junior and seniors in high school that have been acolyting, and they get paid, $30 a week or something like that. And essentially their job here is to boss around the acolytes, make sure that everyone knows what they're doing and all that, make sure things are nice and orderly. They're sort of the behind-the-scenes person in charge that I lean on. And when you started doing that, I started to notice that you started to smile. And then you started to talk to me. And then the thing is Kira, you are a natural born leader. I'm not sure if you know this. Some of the other vergers, you have to learn to do it. It comes to you absolutely naturally. And it's done in this unpretentious, effortless way where you don't have to talk, you don't have to boss people around. You neither have to build up their ego or tear them down. You lead through your own confidence and your own ability. And if this little window into your life is indicative of your true character, which I think it is, then you have nothing but greatness ahead of you. And we are very proud of you and can't wait to see who you will become. So thank you, Kira. And I hope you are sufficiently embarrassed. So... And then being able to say no emphatically to someone who clearly wants you to do something like give a senior talk is a sign of good leadership as well. So you've got that going for you. All right, so today is Ascension Sunday, and then it's also our church picnic. It's also when we acknowledging graduating seniors, and for me it happens to coincide with my son's kindergarten graduation as well. And it's a very monumentous time in the life of our congregation. Things are sort of winding down. And then God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son so that we might not die but have life eternal. And then Jesus also taught us through his life about how we should make meaning in this world. And if you reflect on the events of Ascension Sunday, it's an emotional roller coaster. The disciples followed Jesus around for years. He was their friend. He was their Messiah. They had all of these expectations. None of them were fulfilled because the truth that was blossoming in the world was so much better and bigger than they could even begin to expect. And then they lost Jesus on the cross. They mourned him. They thought all was lost. And then they were given the hope of the empty tomb. And then, as we saw in Acts of the Apostles, Luke is writing his dear friend Theophilus. Acts is the sequel to the Gospel according to Luke, if you did not know that. So Luke is writing his sequel, and it says, Theophilus, you've already heard me write about these many great proofs of Christ coming back into the world. These include the walk to Emmaus, breakfast on the beach where Jesus grills fish for the disciples who are unsuccessfully fishing, and then they jump out of the boat and then go greet him on shore. They had him back. And then just when they had him back, and then their understanding of life and death and everything in between is shattered, he ascended back into heaven. He's there, he's not there, he's back, and he's gone again. Jesus taught us many things, and through example, and then through bearing witness and living into it, he also taught us how to say goodbye. That we as Christians believe that life does not end at death. We are people of the resurrection, but in order to be resurrected, first you must die, and then that is still a painful thing. In order to grow up, you must cease to be who you were. 3.5 years ago, my son, who just graduated from kindergarten, changed our family's vocabulary forever by calling pancakes pink pinks. And we will still call them pink pinks for the rest of our lives. But now he speaks clearly. He no longer delightfully mumbles these words and changes our lives in the most adorable way possible. And I simultaneously miss who he was. I give thanks for the wonderful child that he is. And I can't wait for who he will become. We are constantly in the midst of saying goodbye as we appreciate the people around us. And if one thing is constant, it is change. Whether we are mourning the loss of our children as who they were, or mourning the loss of our loved ones who we trust we will see in God's kingdom, or whether we are saying goodbye for now to our graduating seniors. We trust that you will come back, and you better come back. But when you come back, it's going to be different. Just as you return to a childhood home, and it seems so much bigger in your memories. So too will this place be different when you come back. But as you said so eloquently, this place will always be your home, regardless of whether you like it or not. Regardless of who you become, we will welcome you in with open arms when you return. My friends, on this Ascension Day, bask in the light that God has given us. Trust that we can say goodbye in faithfulness. We can mourn in faithfulness, just as we can dwell in this moment and give thanks for the lives that are around us right now. Amen.